Hi everyone, it's Vache here from recordingstudio9.com and thanks for joining me again. In today's video, I'll be following up on the previous videos of recording a song using PreSonus Studio One version 3 Prime, the free DAW. But in today's video, we're going to follow up onto that and we're actually going to start recording some tracks. And the first track we're going to record, which is, I think it's the simplest one. So to start with, we're going to record the bass guitar sound. Now to make this project useful to the end, I have written arrangement of a song, a composition of a song, and I will have the PDF file of all the chords, the tabs available for that MIDI file that you're going to hear in a minute. Will be available on my website, which is recordingstudio9.com. So you'll be able to visit there, download it, so you know what the chords arrangements are. It's very simple. It's in a G major. There's about 4 or 5 chords. So I've done it quite simple so that it's easy to follow and easy to implement. If you want to add your own instrument in there, maybe you are a guitar player, might want to add some guitar tunes into it. Or if you play a different instrument, then you'll be able to add them knowing what the scale is. And then throughout this process of this series of videos, we're going to go through and record each instrument onto our DAW, which is PreSonus Studio One Prime, the free download version. And hopefully we'll have some musical arrangement in the end. Now here is the good part. This is something we can all work together for this project. You can be involved as well. If you are inspired enough to write lyrics for my musical arrangement, please do so and submit them in. And I will choose the best lyrics that fits my heart, that I like to actually sing to this tune, and I will record that so that we can work together. And if anyone who can play a really nice guitar tune or any other instrument, I keep saying guitar, but any other instrument, trumpets or violins and any other instrument that will fit in nicely, arranged nicely, we will include that as well. So this will be a project that we can actually work together, and it will be a song that will be produced pretty much multiple people involved throughout the world. So hopefully that will work out as well. I will give the details on my website as well as below, or how to contact me and how we can arrange for all those information that you create, like the lyrics, like the musical instrument track recordings and so on, so we can all incorporate together. So this will be a fantastic project. So without any further ado, let's get onto the screen, have a quick listen of what the arrangement sounds like, and then we'll record the bass track, and I will show you a couple of tips and tricks to make it really easy as well, which is the whole idea of this video series. Okay, we can see how I have already the MIDI file loaded, as in my previous video, and I have gone ahead and played this MIDI track and recorded, as you can see down here, an audio track as a stereo mix, just playing directly from my Korg PA3X as a reference. So let's have a quick listen to what the actual stereo mix from the keyboard sounds like, so we have some idea of its arrangement. It's a very mellow track, and that's the intro playing. So as you can hear, it's it's got verse and chorus, quite a few instruments, and builds up and so on. So it's a nice track. So you will have a copy of this project on my website very soon as well. I've done it quite simple and easy scale to play. It's on a G major scale, so it's quite easy to do. So that's what the whole track sounds like from the keyboard. But what we want to do obviously is separate each instrument its own track, and that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so let's mute this stereo track as we don't need it. And also what we want to do is start maybe from channel 9. Channel 9 usually is the bass, but to be able to find out, to make sure that it is, let's put it on solo and let's have a listen to that track, and let's play some notes on. Surely is. Okay, now that we know it's the bass, so why don't we call it the bass so we can remember it. And we don't need to edit anymore. So let's create a new track. Just click at the bottom, add a new track. Let's call it the bass. And audio, we wanted mono, and let's do input 1. That should be fine. To make it easy so we can actually see the tracks properly, we can just sort of make them small, and we can just extend this, and it's already record armed. So when we start recording, my Korg PA3X will play the bass sound because that's the only one we have soloed out, and we'll be able to record that bass as an analog. Now you probably might wonder, why would you want to record in audio? You can play just the MIDI and record your song and record your vocals and record the other instruments, and it's done. One thing I have found that I tend to record everything in audio because maybe later on I may not have my Korg PA3X, or even if I'm using a VST instrument like Presence in Studio One, I still record in audio because that sound later on may not be available because they may not work, and so on. When you upgrade your operating system or you change your computer. So it's always a good idea. I like to record it in an audio. That way I can even export this and import it to any other DAW. I'll be able to still work on it. So that's why I like to record all of my tracks, all of my sounds in audio. Anyway, enough of that. Let's start recording our first track, which is our bass guitar. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. You probably wonder why. Now we can go ahead and record it like that. It's all fine because the sound from the keyboard sounds really good. But what if we want to manipulate it now and record with some EQ and compression so that later on we have to do minimal work, so we don't have to keep adding plugins. So especially if you have an old computer, you probably wouldn't want to overload with lots of VST plugins doing EQs and compressions. We can actually do it right now and save and record with that plugin. So we can open up our mixer, and then from the left hand side we click the inputs. Now here we are able to see the input signal coming from our audio interface. So if we play it, okay, we can actually hear how input 1, because bass is mono, so we are recording monos, so we have the input coming in, and that's the input we've selected here, input 1. So if we double click here, we can actually have inserts here. We can have VST plugins, And a good one to have, and I like to have, PreSonus channel strip. There we go. That's our channel strip. So while we're listening, we can start maybe adding some compression. Okay, and we can do EQ and anything else we like to do with this plugin. So maybe a slow one, bit of compression there. Okay, that should be good. You can certainly reduce some of the mids there, and maybe give a little bit of boost. And if you want to find out how much compression you're doing, you can actually see this tiny yellow line coming down. That's the compression that you're applying. That's a reduction. So as I increase more, as you can see, there's more reduction. You know, you probably don't need any more than 3 dB. You don't want to do too much EQ and compression as you're recording. So we're quite happy with that. So I'm going to stop that. Go right at the beginning and start recording with saving whatever EQ and compression I have selected here. Okay, we have recorded the bass guitar track, and there it is right there. So now we can disarm it, and let's go to the top and mute the actual MIDI track of the bass, and let's have a listen to what we just recorded. Nope, from the beginning. There we go. Sounds pretty cool, sounds pretty smooth, and a bit of compression. But still, if we like, we can always add more by adding our channel strip. If we want more compression, we can certainly add more compression, and we can see here again as we're adding a new compression into it, and or expander if you want. So you can play around. We can certainly, depends how we would like to adjust it. So bypassing it and having it on. So yeah, so that's our bass track all recorded, and you can always keep recording it and practicing it, making sure that you got the track the way you want it. Make sure that when you're doing an insert plug-in at the input, making sure that you do very minimal changes there, because you don't want to affect too much. Otherwise you'll be stuck with it, because that's how it's going to record it. But you can always record straight through, flat, and then add VST plugin later on. Well, I hope that was helpful enough. Now we know what the arrangement sounds like, and we were able to record the bass line for the whole arrangement. Next time we'll choose a different instrument and we'll record that one. Obviously, as you have seen, each instrument will have its own characteristic. You know, each instrument occupies certain frequency bandwidth of the audio spectrum. So we'll be able to use our channel strip to control before it's actually printed or saved onto the track as we're recording it to make it really easier later on, as you will find out in the future videos. So if you like this video, give me the thumbs up. That way I know it was helpful for you. And if you have any comments about this video, something I missed during this video, you can write a comment and I'm more than happy to answer them for you. And as always, please do subscribe. That way you can follow up and be kept up to date all of the future videos of this series as well as many other videos. So until next time, thanks for watching. Cheerio.